Good morning, fellow journeyers. Wake up. Your soul needs you. I'm going to talk today about healthy relationships and how healthy relationships with others are a byproduct of having a healthy relationship with ourselves. And this is something that I have just become aware of probably the last few months as I begin to continue my journey of sobriety, my journey of recovery, and my journey of becoming a healthier person and having a healthier relationship with myself. I am beginning to see that my relationships with others are healthier. And so this is something I want to talk about today. And I want to reflect a little bit on my own journey of becoming a healthier person, having a healthier relationship with myself, my own personal reflection of how I see when I look back on my life, how I did not have a healthy relationship with myself, and how that directly affected my relationship with everybody else around me. So let's dive in. So, as many of you know that watch my channel, I am in recovery and have been for a few years. Part of my inner spiritual journey, my emotional maturity, my mental stability, my stability in my life and where I'm at in my life now, is a complete byproduct of becoming sober and working through all of those changes within myself and within my surroundings. And like I said, what I've become aware of the last few months is that my relationship with others has changed and is continuing to evolve and to change. And that I'm getting to a lot healthier place in my personal relationships with others. When I was an alcoholic, when I was drinking heavily every day, I had a very unhealthy relationship with myself. And this is not something that I was aware of on a conscious level at the time. But as I become healthier and I look back on the old me, the way that I used to be, I see that my relationship with myself was very unhealthy because I was an alcoholic and because I drank so much. I had a tremendous amount of guilt and shame around that behavior. And I often, as contradictory as this sounds now, I often drank to escape from those feelings of guilt and shame about my drinking. So I may have a night, I may have had a night where I would be drinking heavy. I would wake up the next morning. I would feel a tremendous amount of guilt and shame about my drinking from the previous day. And because of that, I would wake up in the morning with this huge resolve that I was not going to drink that day, that I was going to stop this, that I was no longer going to drink, that I needed to change. And on some level, I knew I needed to change. I knew that I was an alcoholic, that my drinking was not natural, and that it was causing problems in my life. However, I did not know how to do that. So I would wake up in the morning with this big resolve, with all of this willpower that today's the day I'm going to make a change. Today, I'm not going to drink. And as the day would progress, my resolve would become less and less. My willpower would become less and less. And I would find that by late afternoon or early evening, I would be drinking again. And typically I would be drinking to escape from the problems of the day, to escape from the way that I was feeling, to escape from feelings of guilt and shame surrounding my drinking. And so after doing this pattern, after this pattern perpetuating through my life for a number of years, I started becoming a person that didn't trust myself. I didn't think I could trust myself. I knew that I would wake up in the morning with this strong resolve that I was not going to drink, with all of this willpower that I was going to make a change and that I was going to become sober. And then lo and behold, by that late afternoon or early evening, I would be drinking again. So after doing this for a number of years, I became a person that no longer trusted myself. I didn't think that I possessed willpower. I did not think that I could follow through with what my intentions were. I didn't think that I was accountable. I did not feel like my intentions and my behavior lined up. So I became a person that no longer trusted themselves. I also was a person that carried a tremendous amount of guilt and shame about my drinking and continued to drink in order to escape those feelings of guilt and shame. And as you continue behavior on a physical level, it starts to affect you mentally and emotionally. It starts to affect the way that you feel about yourself. And as I reflect and I look back now, I see that my perception of myself and the way that I felt about myself directly related to all of the relationships in my life. Although I was not aware of it at the time, in hindsight, I can see this. The first relationships that it affected most directly were my relationships with my children. And I felt like I have said, a tremendous amount of guilt and shame about my heavy drinking. And although I felt like I could hide it from the outside world, that I could hide it, from my coworkers, my fellow employees, my bosses, my supervisors, even my parents or my friends, I knew that I could not hide it from my children because my children were there in my home every day. They were seeing me drink. They were seeing me slur my words, fall down, burn dinner, undercook dinner, be stupid, be silly. They were witnessing all of that. So I knew that I could not hide my behavior from them. So in order to compensate for the amount of guilt and shame I felt with my drinking, I was not very much of a disciplinarian when my children were growing up. I wanted them to love me. I wanted them to want to be at my house, to want to spend time with me. I wanted to be the cool parent, the fun parent. I had very little to no rules in my house and did not discipline my children because I did not want them to not want to be around me. I didn't want them to not want to spend time with me. And I knew that with my heavy drinking that was an issue, that often they did not want to spend time with me or to be in my home because I was drinking. And so I would try to compensate for that by being the cool parent, by being more of a friend than actually a parent, by letting them do what they wanted to do, come and go as they please, have friends over. I didn't expect much out of them. Because to be honest, I really was not expecting much out of myself. So I cleaned, I did the laundry, I cooked, I just kind of let them do their thing. So I can see now in hindsight how my unhealthy relationship that I had with myself directly affected my children and the relationship that I had with them. And it was an unhealthy relationship. As I look back too, I also look back at my personal relationships, the partners that I had, the intimate relationships that I was involved in. And again, it was the same thing. I was not a person that I felt like I could trust. I didn't feel like I was accountable. I didn't feel like I could follow through with what I said I was going to do. And so therefore my personal relationships, were a reflection of that same behavior. I accepted people into my life, into personal relationships that exhibited the same behavior that I was exhibiting. I would tolerate bad behavior. I would tolerate people coming and going as they pleased, doing whatever they wanted, being disrespectful. I let people into my life that had great intentions but did not follow through with them. that would, talk a good talk, but the actions were completely opposite of that. And again, as I look back now over my life, I realized that was the kind of person that I was. That was who I thought I was, and that was the life I was living. And so I accepted that same behavior from the people around me. And what I am learning as I continue this path of recovery and as I continue to get healthier mentally and emotionally, that all of my relationships around me are changing. And they are changing for the better. They are becoming healthier. And this was not something that I consciously did. This was not something that I was consciously aware of. However, it was a direct byproduct of me becoming healthier and having a healthier relationship with myself, that now, as I look at my relationships with others, as I look at my relationships with my friends, with my coworkers, with my children, I see that they are a lot healthier. As I am continuing this path of recovery, I am becoming a person who is accountable. I am learning to trust myself. When I wake up in the morning, I know that I'm going to stay sober today. I can trust myself to have the intention of not drinking and knowing that I can and will follow through with it. I am also becoming accountable in my daily life, in my finances, in my appointments, in my level of accountability in the physical world around me. I know that if I make a doctor's appointment, if I make an appointment, if I need to run errands, if I need to take care of business, I can trust myself that I will follow through with those things, that I will do those things. And the same goes with my personal relationships. As I become a person who follows through with good intentions, who is accountable, who makes goals and follows through with them, who takes steps towards things that I say that I'm going to do, that I want to do, as I follow through with those things, I expect that same behavior from the people around me. As I feel less guilty and shameful because I am not drinking heavily, because I am not drinking heavily, I am accountable, I am trustworthy, I'm a person who follows through with their intentions. My inner self and my outer actions align up with each other now. And because I am living that way, because I am having a relationship with myself in that way, I am having relationships with others in my life in that same way. The amount of accountability that I expect from myself, I am now expecting from others in my life as well. I am able to set boundaries with people in my life. I am able to say no and not feel guilty about it. I am not worried that I'm going to be abandoned, that people are not going to like me, or that they are going to leave me. And to be honest, I am at a place in my life of my own personal security that if people do fall away from my life, if people do leave, I trust the universe. I trust that that is the right thing. People have often said, there's a reason, a season, or a lifetime in all of our relationships. And when I was an alcoholic and drinking so heavily and so full of fear and guilt and shame, I was holding on so strongly to everybody around me, so afraid of people not liking me or people not wanting to be in my life. And as I get stronger on a personal level, as I get a healthier inner life, the fear of people not being in my life has dissipated. I've come to the realization that some people are going to fall away, and that's okay. That's the natural progression of life and of relationships in our lives. And that there's a reason, there's a season, or there's a lifetime. And some people in my life will be there for my lifetime. They've seen me through the hard times, they've seen me through the good times, and they still love me and they still accept me for who I am. There are some people that that were in my life for a season. Maybe they were with me when I was partying, when I was going out to the bars, when I was having fun, when I was socializing and drinking, and they were part of that life. They were part of what I was doing at that time. And those people have fallen away. There was a season for that in my life, and that's not where I'm at anymore. And it's okay that those people aren't in my life anymore, because that's not where I am anymore either. And then, of course, you've got people that are there for a reason. There are people that I've had in my lives that I have learned great lessons from. Things that I still hold on to today, things that I still reflect on, little things that were said or done or not said or not done that were lessons that I learned. And so if those people are not in my life anymore, it's okay. There was a reason they were in my life, and they don't need to be anymore. So what I want to talk to you about today, what I want to put together is that healthy relationships are a direct result or are a natural byproduct of having a healthy relationship with ourselves. Now, for me, that meant sobriety. That was my first step to beginning to have a healthy relationship with myself. For some of you, that may be the case. For some of you, it may not be, or it may be something else in your life that you're dealing with, another problem or another addiction. But as we become healthier with ourselves, then our relationships become healthier. Things that I have done and continue to do to have a healthier relationship with myself, that may be things that you can do as well. I love to journal. When I first became sober, I had a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions that came along with that. Things that I had been suppressing or that I had been escaping from by drinking were now in the forefront. And I had to now face these feelings and these emotions. And I had to mature with them. Oftentimes when we start drinking or using at a very young age, we kind of emotionally cut ourselves off from maturing. We're using something outside of ourselves to get through life on an emotional level. And when you take that something, whatever it may be, that outside source away, all of a sudden you have to learn how to deal with feelings. Journaling is a great way to deal with feelings. Crying sometimes, saying you're sorry and meaning it, taking a hot bath, going for walks, being out in nature, doing yoga, doing meditation, going to church, praying. These are all different ways that we can feed ourselves emotionally and that we can become healthier emotionally. Another thing that we can do, and something else that I think naturally begins to happen as we do all of these things and as we get healthier emotionally, is that we become healthier in our minds. We become healthier in our physical realities. We start to think rationally. The self-created drama that we might have perpetuated or brought into our lives or invented when we were drunk, when we were on drugs, when we were not emotionally healthy. Though that mental self-created drama begins to dissipate. As you get healthier emotionally, your thinking becomes healthier. You start to think more rationally, more clearly. Things make more sense. And then, of course, as you are becoming healthier emotionally and mentally, the physicality of becoming healthy follows as well. And that is not only in the way that that we take care of our physical bodies, maybe in our eating habits, maybe changing our eating habits, because we are respecting ourselves, because we are loving ourselves, maybe exercising, getting outside, practicing yoga, taking walks, doing things that are healthy for us physically as well. And then all of those things, all of those processes, all of those little things that we do on all of those different levels then starts permeating out, and we start becoming the kind of people that we want in our lives. We start becoming the kind of people that we want to surround ourselves with. And as we continue this process, before we know it, we're going to realize that we are surrounding ourselves with the kind of people that are a direct reflection of who we are. So remember, as you get healthier, you will surround yourselves with people that are healthier. Because when you are in a place in your life that is very unhealthy, you will bring people into your lives that are a reflection of you. And as you get healthier, again, you will bring people in your lives that are a reflection of you, but they're going to be healthier people. So I hope that if you are on a path of recovery, if you are just on a path of self-improvement, that you will continue to work on yourself. And then maybe just look at the relationships around you. Look at the behavior that you're willing to tolerate, that maybe you weren't, that you weren't willing to tolerate before. Or the expectations that you have of people that you used to not have. Things that, behaviors that you used to let slide are now red flags to you. This is the kind of person I want in my life. This is the kind of person I don't want into my life. Maybe the old me would have tolerated this kind of behavior, but this is not behavior that's okay with me anymore. And when you are secure within yourself, it's okay to say no and not tolerate bad behavior, because you're not afraid of being alone. You're not afraid of being unworthy. You're not afraid of somebody finding out the real you. Because when you are healthy, you are the real you, and it is reflected in the way you live your life and in all of your relationships. So remember, people, fellow journeyers, we are in this world, but we are not of this world. We continue to become healthier. We continue to grow, and we continue to surround ourselves with people that are a direct reflection of us. So make yourself healthy so that you can surround yourselves with people that are as well. Peace and namaste.